Welcome to another lecture on C programming. In the last presentation, we have discussed about break statement and continue statement. Also, you have learned a new pattern, that is a pyramid pattern. Okay. So in today's lecture, we're going to talk about a new concept, guys. Very important and easy. A switch case statement, and also you will learn a new kind of pattern, that is a diamond pattern. So let's first understand a switch case statement, guys. So what is a switch case statement? Already you have familiar with if else ladder. So switch case statement is nothing but it is an alternate way of if else ladder. Okay, so where basically we used to perform different kind of actions based on condition, guys. Okay, so it is a kind of if else if ladder statement. Okay, but here the thing is that we have to perform different actions on based on some conditions. So let's first see the basic syntax of a switch case statement. So here you can see that this is the basic syntax of a switch case statement. Okay, so now I will tell you about each and every step in detail. Okay, so let's look at here. So here this is switch keyword, guys. Already you knew what is a keyword. So it is a predefined word, okay, that is resolved. So it has some meaning. So this is a switch keyword, and here this is a block of a switch keyword like a if else statement. Okay, now here you can see that this case these cases are basically the labels. You can say that it is a label. Okay, and it is also a keyword, guys, a predefined word, a default label. Okay, now here you can see that there is an expression, guys. What is this? So already you have familiar with some kind of conditional expression in if statement, in while loop, in for loop. But here, what is this expression, guys? So this expression is nothing but it is an integer. So it should be an integer always. So when you write any expression inside a switch statement, it should be an integer, guys. Okay, it should be a 5, it may be sorry it may be 5, it may be 4, it may be 3, it may be 2, it may be 1. So anything. Okay, also you can write any kind of expression that gives you a number. Okay, you can write here num, that is you store that value inside a variable. Now how basically it works? So here you can see that this is value 1, this is value 2. What is this value 1, value 2? Since here, sorry, okay, give me an eraser. I'm just gonna erase this. Okay, now it looks good. So here you can see that this is an expression which gives you an integer. So what is this value? This value should be an integer, guys. Okay, it may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any integer. Okay, and here also this is an integer. You can write any number of cases inside the switch statement, switch block. Okay, and here the value is n. Like in if else if ladder. Okay, like in if else if ladder. So you can see that this basically looks like if else if ladder. And in the last, in if else if ladder, there is an else statement, guys. When all the if statement, else if statement was false, then that else statement will execute it. So same way, if all the level, that is level 1, level 2, and up to level n, suppose there are so many levels, all the levels become false, then the last level, that is default level, that will execute it. Okay, and now you can see that how basically all the levels will fall. So now what basically happens here? So first of all, you have entered some number. Okay, suppose you have entered here as a number 5. Okay, so here, sorry, So here it will check. I'm again erase all the links. Okay, so here it will first check the value, that that value is matched with that expression or not. So here suppose you write 1, case 1, that means it check if the value here after the case level is exactly matched with that expression, that number inside the switch block. If that value is matched with that level, the statement inside that level will execute it. Okay, so here this statement will execute, guys. Okay, and suppose you write a lot of statement there, so I am just using statements. Okay, so suppose you write here printf, scanf, or any kind of statement you can write here, that will execute it. And after that, a break statement. Okay, so already you have familiar with a break statement and a continue statement. So also this break statement is optional, guys. Sometime you don't need to write any break statement, but it is very important to write a break statement inside the switch case block. I will tell you why. Okay, so if you don't write a break statement here, that means it will not give an error. It is correct. Okay, but why we basically use a break statement? Suppose you want to execute only this statement, that is case 1. Okay, and here you have entered the data 1, and it will check the condition, and after that here it will match, that is 1. Suppose here a value is 1. Okay, value 1 means the data, integer data, not value 1. Suppose it is 1. If it is 1, if it is 1, then this statement will execute it. And here your statement will execute it already. Now the break statement will work. And after that, the all statement, the all labels skip. It will skip all the labels. You know that what is a break statement? So it basically terminate the loop. So here also it terminate the flow of switch case statement. Okay, and you will go after this switch case block. Okay, so here after that, the next statement after the switch case block will execute it. So why we have written a break statement here, guys? Suppose the value is not 1 here. Okay, so I'm just gonna find where. Okay, here again it is all the links. Okay, and just write the color that is more bright. Okay, suppose the value is here in that expression is 5. Okay, you want to check that the value should be matched with 5 or not. So here first the switch statement will check. Okay, so here condition is not matched with 5. Why? Because here I have written a value 1. Okay, so it will check the value is 5 or not. Here value is not 5, guys. Okay, so it will go for the next level. Okay, so here it will again check the value. Here I have written the value 2 as 2. Okay, same way it will check the next level and the next level and the next level. Suppose it will find that some case give the some level give it the value 5. When that value match with 5, it will execute that statement, guys. Okay, and suppose if that number 5 is not there, then this default statement will execute it. Okay, so that is the flow control of a switch case statement test. Now what we will do, we will write a basic program to understand switch case statement. So for that we have to open a Visual Studio Code. Okay, so first open a Visual Studio Code. Here I have already written a program of pyramid. Okay, that's the last program. Okay, so before pyramid, first understand a switch case statement. So what you will do, we will just write a new file name. Okay, and the file name is switch sorry switch case.c, a new file name. What we will do, we will just write. Okay, so first understand a problem statement. What you have to do in this program, you have understand the basic concept. And now also I am going to mention a new program. What is that? So here the program is, you have to check all the integer from 1 to 9. Okay, and here you have to write, if the value is 1, so you have to print 1. Okay, suppose you have entered the value 2, so you have to print 2. So in this way up to n. Okay, and suppose if you get the number that is greater than n, suppose you will get the value 11. Okay, so since this value is greater than n, so what you will do, so you will have to write that value is greater than 9. Okay, value is greater than 9. Okay, so just print this. And now we have to write a program using the concept of switch case. Okay, so now what you will do, guys? So as usual, what we first write hatch include stdio.h. Okay, hope you understand the concept, the program. Now we will write main function. Okay, so it is very easy program, guys, but we have to use a switch case statement to understand switch case mode. Okay, I'm just gonna now here just write int num. Okay, so int num, and also initialize that value with any value. Okay, guys, otherwise it will give you some uninitialization behavior. Okay, that is not very good to practice. Okay, so when you write any variable, just initialize it. Suppose you want to use that variable after that. Okay, so you can write as a default value 0 if it is an integer. If it is a float, you can write 0.0. Okay, if it is a pointer, you have to write a null. That is very good to practice. Okay, I will tell you why it is important. Okay, so here I'm just gonna write num is equal to 0. Just initialize. Don't leave the number only with declaration. Okay, sometime it will give you default value as a 0, but sometime it will give you some garbage value. Okay, and it will give you an error. Okay, so it is better to practice that any variable with initialization. You can just initialize that variable with some default value as 0. Now ask from the user, enter the number. Okay, enter the number, put a semicolon. Now take the input from the user. Okay, and here now after that, not a for loop, guys, you have to just write a switch case statement. Okay, so if you write a switch after that, you when you enter, it will give you the default structure in VS Code. Okay, other than you just write with your own. Okay, so I'm just gonna write for you by on. Okay, so when you enter, it will give you the default structure. Okay, switch, and after that, here you have to write the expression. What is that expression? So here the expression is num. Suppose you enter some value 2, then this will check here the case, and this is the value, guys. And after that, you have to put a colon. It is very important. Okay, if you didn't use, if you will not write a colon after label, so this is called a label case. Okay, so it will give an error. And now you can write the statement. How many statements? Whatever you basically, what are your requirements? Okay, so here I have to write only one statement. Why? I'm just going to write 1, okay, and semicolon, and after that a break statement, okay. And now same way, if value is 2, what will happen here? Just write printf 2 backslash n semicolon and break. Same way, if value is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, okay, I'm just gonna copy this and paste this. Now here, suppose value is 3, what you will do, will just write 3, 4, okay, value is 5. Don't worry, I will explain. You can also write this program with me, okay. It really helpful to you. Now what is the next value? 6, okay. So in this program basically you will learn about the switch case statement. Also you have learned one kind of program when you have given any integer and you have to print the string value of that integer, okay. So that is also one kind of program, guys, okay. If you will practice a program on coding platforms, you will get this kind of question, guys, okay. 8, and here the value is 9, okay. If the value is 9, now what after that? So after that I'm gonna write a default statement, okay, and here just write value is greater than 9 and break, okay, and here put a return 0. Now understand the program, okay. So I just initialize the variable num as 0, okay. Why we basically put some value? To avoid uninitialized behavior, okay. And now I'm just gonna ask to user enter the number, and here it's gonna take input from the user, and after that the switch and case statement will start executing, okay. Now what is happening here? It will first check the expression, that value. Now suppose it is 5, okay. So it will check the value level case 1, okay. So 1 is not matched with 5, it will again go for the next level. 2 is also not matched, now 3, now 4. Here the condition is, sorry, the level is matched with that value and that expression, okay. So here value is 5, okay. Now the statement under this block, that this level will execute it. What are the statement? There are two statement, guys. First is printf, another one is break statement, okay. So this will execute you 5, okay. I'm just going to write save this C program and run this, okay. Now so it's going to ask us enter the number, so I'm just going to write 5, okay. Again enter the number, okay. So I'm just going to write 9. Again enter the number like 3. So suppose you enter number 11, what is happened? Value is greater than 9. So now you can understand this program, guys, okay. Very easy and very simple. Switch case, okay. So you have learned about switch case statement. Now it's time to understand our pattern series, okay. So we're gonna now continue our pattern series. You have learned about a lot of patterns like a rectangular pattern, whole rectangular patterns, half pyramid, full pyramid. And now we're going to talk about a diamond pattern, okay. So this is basically the last kind of pattern we discussed today. And after that, we will discuss the pattern with numbers. Okay, so where I'm going to just discuss Pascal triangle and Floyd triangles. That those are important. And other than these kind of problems, if you want to practice more problems on patterns, you can directly practice on at Cyber Awesome Academy website, where I have given all the patterns and also their programs. Okay, so where you will get that link in the description box. Now, first understand a diamond pattern. So here is the diamond shaped pyramid pattern. Okay, sorry, that is only pattern, guys. Okay, so it is also very simple. You have already learned about pyramid pattern, guys. Okay, and also you can see here, if you divide this diamond pattern, then the upper half is your pyramid pattern and the lower half is your reverse pyramid pattern, guys. Okay, so a diamond pattern is nothing but a combination of pyramid pattern, and that basically you already know. Okay, so in the last representation we have discussed about pyramid pattern. Okay, so I'm gonna repeat this again. So here, when you see this pattern, so the first part is nothing but it is combination of space, guys. Okay, so this triangle is a combination of space. There are four space for the first row, and after that third row. Okay, so there are three space, and after that two space and a single space, guys. Okay, so don't look at this part. Okay, the reverse pattern. First understand this. So here total number of row are 5. Okay, and total number of column, guys, also 5. And also you can see that the first part, that is the space part, is also a pattern, but the number of row is same. So for the first loop, the first part is, and for the also for the second part, that is this pattern, guys, the upper loop is remains same. Okay, but here, okay, I'm gonna change the color of the ink now. Okay, so here, so this pattern, guys, so this is your pyramid pattern. So for this pattern you have to also write another for loop. Okay, and the shape of pattern is a triangular pattern. Okay, that pyramid shape. But when you see the value inside the pattern, if this part is not here, so this looks like a rectangle, sorry, right angle triangle. If a star is here, single star is here, and after that if suppose here two star, then it looks like a half pyramid, which have you already understand. Okay, now the thing is that you have to write a program first for this pattern. Okay, and after that you will add this reverse pattern. Okay, sorry, 1 minute, guys. Okay, 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 so here what we have to write a program. Okay, first for upper pyramid and then after for second pyramid. Okay, so also you can see there is another pattern of a space. Okay, so and this pattern, if you can see that for the first half, that is for upper half, the number of row is same, guys. Okay, but the column, that means column is also 5, but the pattern is different. Okay, so this is your first pattern and this is your second pattern. So what we have to do, we first write first for loop, that upper for loop for number of row, and after that one for loop to print space, okay, which control the number of column, and in the same row we just write a pattern, okay, the pyramid pattern. And now this block is completed. And now again look at this pattern, okay. So here I'm first gonna erase this. Where is eraser? Okay. So here you can see that there is also a pattern of space, guys. Okay. Since it is a reverse pyramid pattern, so the concept is same. And this is your reverse pyramid. Okay. So there are also two pattern here, guys. Okay. You have already completed the first part. This part is completed. Now you have to complete this part. But you can see that how many total number of rows in this complete diamond pattern. Okay, so here if you count from here first, okay, so this is the second, total number of rows is 2, so 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the total number of row is basically 2 into n minus of 1. Okay, so here number of column is 5, guys. So 10 minus 1, that is 9. So here total number of row is different. Okay, and you have already print the upper part. Now it's time to print the lower part. Okay, so for that we have to also write, if we consider only lower part, this part, so for that what we have to do, we have to first write a row, a for loop. Okay, so for the number of row, guys, if you forget about the upper pattern, only consider this pattern. So here also first step is there is a space. Okay, so for a space pattern, and after that a reverse rectangle, sorry, pyramid pattern. Okay, so here also you have to write two loop. First loop basically control what, the space pattern. Okay, and after that that block will complete it, and thereafter the second for loop, which basically control what, the reverse pyramid pattern. Okay, and here the, your this second for loop, the number of row will complete, guys. Okay, so you have to use 4 for loop. Okay, sorry, 6 for loop. Here the first for loop is basically control total number of rows for the first pyramid, which basically a triangular pyramid pattern. So that for loop basically control the total number of row for full pyramid, the triangular pattern, and that basically that for loop controls the total number of row of reverse pyramid pattern. Okay, and if you combine this, then you will get your diamond pattern, guys. So a diamond pattern is nothing but it is a combination of pyramid pattern, guys. If you again break the pyramid pattern, so it is nothing but it is the combination of half pyramid patterns, guys. Okay, so you already knew about patterns. Now we will write program to understand this pattern. Okay, and also we will print the pattern. And let's open VS Code again. So here, okay, so in the last representation we have discussed about pyramid pattern. Okay, and now you can see that it was our last program, guys. Okay, but you have already seen that I actually faced some problems to run this program on Visual Studio Code. So basically I use online IDE Okay, so Coursera ID. But I'm going to tell you why actually this problem happened yesterday. Because first thing is that uninitialized behavior of variable. If you declare a variable, you have to just declare it with some values. Okay, and another problem it may be that the buffer problem. Okay, so if you use scanf, sometime it basically don't take the value in that line. Okay, so that why you have to just write a backslash n. Now it will not give you any error. Suppose you just write two scanf function, and the same time what will happen, the value basically you enter the next value, that is suppose that is space or new line, that also taken by the scanf sometime. Okay, so it will you give some error as a buffer. Okay, so this is basically a kind of problem you can face in future in C programming, but don't worry about that. If you face this kind of problem that the next scanf is skipped, just write a backslash n before %d. Okay, so it will solve the problem, this buffer problem. And also practice variable with some default value. Okay, so if you don't put some default value as 0 or something null in a pointer, in the case of pointer, then it will give you some garbage value, guys. And suppose here it skipped that scanf, then what happened, so basically the garbage value number is very large and it will run as a infinite. Okay, so very interesting. So basically it was given an error in the last video. Okay, now we just gonna first print a pyramid. Okay, so this is the same program basically you have learned in the last video. Now here you can see that I'm just gonna ask to user enter the value n. Okay, that is the pattern you want to print, the total number of row and total number of column. Okay, so here I'm just going to print a pyramid pattern again, and this first for loop is control the total number of row, and here the first time is the condition check, and here also the condition check. Okay, but you have to know one thing, that this condition basically control and decide the shape of the pattern, guys. Okay, so there is no any problem with number of row. If you print pyramid, so it will run same as a rectangular pattern from I is equal to 1 to I is less than equal to n. And now the second for loop, so it basically controls the number of space. So here I'm just going to write a space. Okay, first space for genuine space and second space for space pattern, guys. Okay, and this for loop basically print the space for the first row, and after that this for loop will print the print pattern, star pattern for the first row. Same way this will run for the second row, third row. Okay, so in this way, guys. Okay, so it will print as it in this way, guys. That is very important. Okay, now I'm just gonna run, save this and run this C program. If you don't understand this program this time, okay, so suppose you didn't watch the previous video, now it's looks difficult to you, but don't worry about that, I will again explain this. Okay, but if you already watched the last video, then it is easy to you to understand. Okay, so why I didn't explain the whole program in that way. Okay, because I have already made a video on pyramid pattern, guys, so you can watch the last video. So here enter the value of, and suppose I'm going to 5, so this is basically your pyramid pattern. Again someone asks you, just enter the value. Okay, so you just write 10, that is the size of pyramid pattern. Now we have to print a rectangular pattern. So here you can see that first pattern is a space pattern and another pattern is a triangular pattern. Now so this will print you a space pattern y. So here the value is j is equal to 1 and the next value is j less than is equal to n minus of I. Why? The value of n is equal to 5. So every time you, how many spaces basically you need? So for the first row you have to write 5. Okay, So if total number of row is 5, so you have to print 4 space. Okay, so here if the value of I is equal to 1, that means this will loop runs 4 times. Okay, so it will print the 4 space, and after that this loop, guys, this loop is nothing but, if you can see that, it is like a half pyramid pattern. Okay, and it controls in that way, first star then second star. I already mentioned that in the last video. Okay, so that is easy. Now it's time to print a diamond pattern. So what you basically see in the diamond pattern. Okay, so to understand that, I'm just gonna again see you that pattern. So here, so in this diamond pattern, you have printed the upper part. Now you have to print the lower part. Okay, so you can notice there in the lower part there is also a pattern for space, and after that the pyramid pattern. So what we will do, we will run a for loop, first for loop for the pattern, that is for space pattern. And the what should be the condition, guys? The main thing is that you have know what you have to print. The first thing is solved, that is you have to print the space and you have to print the star. Okay, I'm just erase this to make it looks good. Okay, so you already knew that what you have to print, you have to print a space, and after that you have to print a star. Okay, and in this way. Okay, so that is the thing, guys. So if you talk about the first row, so it is basically your upper part. Now in the second part, okay, so this is your second part. So here in the first row, what you basically print, you first print a space, and after that you print star. Okay, so in this way you print a star. Don't look at what. Okay, so this is, suppose this is your star. Okay, so this is your first row, guys. So for the first row, you iterate the first for loop. That is, the first for loop is for space pattern, guys. Okay, the same way in the reverse also, you have to write first for loop for space, and after that another for loop for star pattern, guys. That is very important. Okay, so this way. So here total number of space is 4, guys. Now, okay, so here, so what is the condition? The main thing is you have to write the condition, because the pattern is same like a previous pattern. So the basically the condition basically check the pattern. Okay, because the pattern is in reverse form. So also the condition will check. Okay, so for the first row, if the value of I is equal to 1, okay, the j value should also 1. If you talk about space, guys. Okay, and if the value of I is equal to 2, then also the total number of space is 2. Okay, so if value of I is equal to 3, total number of space is 3. Okay, so here you can see that this is your total number of space, guys. Okay, and now where this loop will false. Okay, if the value is less than I, the maximum value of I is equal to 5 here, so you have to print only 4 space. Okay, so the j value should be less than what, less than 5. Okay, so what you will write in the condition, the j value should be less than n. That is the condition for what, for the first space pattern, guys. That should be the condition. Okay, you got the condition. And what is the initial value of j? So the initial value of j should be equal to I, guys. Okay, sorry, here you can see that the value of sorry, okay, so the condition here you can see that j less than n, when, for the last row. Okay, so here n value is equal to 5, and n value is equal to 5 and the condition should be j less than 5. Suppose for the next upper row the condition should be j less than 4. Okay, and that is basically n value. Okay, so that is the upper value is the n value, and you can see that it basically depend on what the value of I, that is n value. Okay, so for the first time I should be less than equal to, that is j should be less than equal to, okay, n guys, sorry, I, if that is this j less than equal to I. Okay, and here the number of row is only 4. Why it is 4? Because it has already taken that the middle row by taken by the upper pyramid. Either you can take this here or here. So you got your condition, the j value less than equal to I. And what is the initial value of j? Is equal to 1. So this is basically for the first. I'm just gonna erase this and write again. Okay, so you got the your first for loop. Okay, so this is for number of row for lower pattern. Okay, so how many there row here? There are 4 number of row. Okay, so it will run 4 times. So that is basically n minus 1. So here what is the condition? The I value, that is the total number of row for the lower part, should be less than n. Okay, so it will go for n minus 1 up to n minus 1. Now the inner first for loop guys. So inner first for loop will print the pattern, a space pattern, and here also you got the condition that the j value should be less than equal to I guys. Okay, why? Because when the I value is increases, the number of space here also increases. Okay, so you will get that condition also. Now it's time to know the condition of star, reverse star pattern. Okay, so for that we have to write another for loop, and also we have to find the condition and what should be the initialization value. So here you can see that first there are number of star is 4. Okay, for 1 the value should be 4, for 2 it should be 3. Okay, for 2, for 3 it should be 2. What is this 432? So this is basically total number of column guys. This is first column, second column, third column, okay, third column and fourth column guys. Okay, so for I is equal to 1, this is 4. So don't think about the upper pattern, just think about the lower one. Okay, so when I is equal to 2, then total number of column is 3, and when I is equal to 3, total number of column is 2. So you can see that the value of j, that is column, is decreases when the value of I is increases. So what we have to do, we have to just initialize, okay, the value j. Okay, same way we initialize the value as 1. So it is important how many times our inner for loop will run. You can start with 4 also and decrease the value. Okay, so I'm just going to use same pattern. It is easy to you to understand. So here I just use initialization as same as usual, j is equal to 1. Now check the condition. What should be the condition guys? So here if you gonna write the value, so what is the value here guys? So here value actually equal to n minus of I. How? So if value is 1, that is the value of I, and total number of actual total number of row, that is basically n guys. Okay, so n, and it will run 4 times, that is it was 5, and here you can see that it will run 4. So it is equal to n minus of what? I. Okay, so if you consider the first row, it will like n minus of 1. For second row it will like n minus of 2. For the third row it will like n minus of 3. So you can see that the value of I here changes in this way, that is 4, that is 4, sorry, 1, 2, 3. So it is increases, and also the total number of column will decreases. So this is your second for loop. Now you can see that in your program how can you write these things, guys. Okay, so I'm just gonna again open Visual Studio Code. So here, guys, you have already print the upper half part. Now it's time to print the lower part one. So it is also a same kind of pattern. Okay, so we have to just start from I is equal to 1, and here the condition is, you can see that there are total number of row is 4. Okay, 4 remaining. So that is I should be less than equal to what? N minus of 1. Okay, and I plus plus. That is your first for loop for the second part. Okay, the total number of row. So here total number of row will consider as n minus 1. Also you can write a condition I less than is equal, less than only n. Okay, now it's time to print pattern first, guys. So for pattern what we have to do, I just use the same variable int c. Okay, and here just gonna write the initialization part as usually same, j is equal to 1. Now we will check the condition. You already knew what is the condition when you check j value. Okay, so for the first time you have to print only one space. Okay, so that should be equal to I, and second time you have to print two space. Okay, so I'm just going to write here I. That is your condition, and j plus plus. So what is basically you want to print here? So you just gonna write printf space. Okay, so that is the thing, guys. Now here I'm just gonna write another part. Okay, so for the pattern, guys, here pattern is decreasing. So just write for loop for the remaining part, that is the star part, reverse pyramid. So int k is equal to 1, the same way we basically use for initialization. And here the condition should be the value of k less than equal to what? That is n minus 1, guys. Okay, so that value is basically equal to first time, for when the value is, for the first row it is 4, that is when n value is 5. For the second row it is 3. So it basically depends on value of I. So I'm just going to write n minus of I and k plus plus. What you have to do here, just write printf star. Okay, it looks like this. And now, so it will first print the upper pattern, and after that it will print, guys, the lower pattern. So for that also we have to write a backslash and separate each row. Okay, so here your program is completed for what? For diamond pattern. So it is basically combination of patterns. So if you break it, so it becomes very easy problem. Okay, so very easy pattern. So I'm just gonna save this and run this C program. So it will ask you enter value of n. So I'm just gonna write 4. So here you can see that this is your pattern, guys, a diamond pattern. Again run this C program and just gonna write a value, some larger value like 12. So here you can see that the total number of here columns, okay, so that is 12, guys. If you count this part, the first part is it equals 12. If you count total number of row, it is multiple of 12. That is, you multiply 12 with 2 and minus 1. That is 23. So here total number of row is 23. The first part is basically this upper part is basically your pyramid, and lower part, that is reverse pyramid, which has less than one size than the upper pyramid guys. Okay, so hope you understand this pattern problem. I'm just gonna zoom out this and you can see this. And also if you have any queries, you can watch previous video guys. You understand these things easily. Okay, so what will we do in the next lecture? We will understand about go to statement, but also we will write some pattern program like parcel triangle and first triangle. Okay, also you can use this pattern. Already I have covered all kind of pattern guys. Okay, so you have to practice with your own. Just go on Cyberocean Academy website where you will get all kind of pattern problems, and also you can play with patterns with numbers. You can just print some value I plus j, I minus j minus 1. You can see there, you can get different kind of pattern also. Okay, so if you will change the value, then you will get a different value pattern. Also you can write some character at the place of star guys. Okay, it is also a kind of pattern, but the shape of pattern is remaining same, that rectangular, the pyramid, and this diamond pattern. Also you can practice all kind of patterns on website. Okay, and now it's time to say thank you. Okay, so thanks for watching, and if you like the video on C programming guys, so please do subscribe the channel and also share this video with your friends. It will help him also. And also I'm just gonna mention one thing, that after C programming we're gonna launch a new course on data structures. Okay, and that will very interesting guys, and also very important. So just connect with us and stay safe, stay in your home. And this is Atul Kumar signing off. Thank you.